This is for the leaders, the visionaries, the hope bringers, kindness instigators. This is your place to get loved, poured into, activated, and inspired. Well, welcome back to the Evelyn Fusen Show. I am Evelyn, your host, and today you are in for an epic treat. Actually, I was just thinking before I started to hit record that the guest who's here with me today is one who we have talked about doing episodes before, but just what would we talk about, all of the things.
Yeah.
And I think it's perfect that this is the episode that she's actually coming on for, because this, what you're about to hear about, and the collaborative thing that we are working towards is truly a dream come true that's been in the making since I first met her as Hot Mama Red Pepper in college.
Yep.
Welcome to the show, Katie Vogel, my best friend and truly soul sister. There's something about you and about the way that we've clicked since the beginning that has felt like coming home.
Yeah,
And I'm so grateful. Welcome.
absolutely. Thank you. I'm so glad to be with you. We have talked about the podcast. I've been so proud to watch you put this and so many other visions that you have, bring them to life. And for us to get to talk about the vision we're bringing to life together is so, so special because you sought me out when we were at Georgetown College together. And I became Hot Mama Red Pepper on our very first lunch date together.
Yes.
So that is a funny story, really, if I can just tell it real quick, because now
Yeah.
we've piqued everyone's interest, right? But it's kind of funny. I mean, there's only really one place you can have lunch on campus there. So we went to the caf and we got lunch from the lunch buffet, and I decided pizza that day. And it had red pepper flakes on it, which didn't really occur to me at the time. I mean, I saw them, but we sat down to eat. I just met Evelyn. She had, I think you told me you had heard about me, which is funny. So my reputation preceded me in some ways, but you sought me out and we sat down to start to get to know each other. And I took a bite of my pizza and it was spicier than expected. The red pepper hit hard, right in the punched me in the face, and I said, "Woo! Hot mama, red
Good.
pepper." And so forevermore. But it's very fitting, I think, for me.
Yes, Katie's right. I had heard about her. Um, I had heard about this new freshman on the campus who had a heart, really like an activist heart. I remember thinking
Mhm.
that the things that I had heard about you sounded really activating. And,
Mm.
but also, at the time in my own spiritual walk, I still felt really well, still part of something that I'm here to do is to spiritually mentor other people. And I remember sending you a message on Facebook and saying, "Hey, I feel like God asked me to disciple you. That could be really weird. It's okay if it's weird. I'm not crazy. I'm just trying to be obedient. And so if you don't want to do it, that's okay. I don't take it personal. But if you do want to do it, when do you want to go?"
Yeah.
But that's still kind of the way of the world in which I live anyway, which is
Hmm.
like, hey, I had this feeling about you. I had
Hmm.
this tug, this pull, this other thing that really drew me in, and I have to follow it. If I don't follow it, I know what happens, and it doesn't ever end in like a
Yeah.
satisfying place if I don't.
Hmm.
And so I'm so glad, to those of you listening, if you feel your internal pulls to saddle up your seat next to a woman that you admire, feel like, hey, there's some energy here I want to know about,
Hmm.
do it. Because
Yeah.
what year did we meet? Your freshman year. So that would have
2009.
been, yeah, 2009.
Hmm.
And we have been through so many things
Yeah.
together in our lives. And grown and changed, and some of us got married and had a kid. Like, that's like
Yeah.
some life work there.
Oh, yeah.
Um, so I'm grateful for all the years and all of the seasons. Um, that's brought us to where we are today. But one of the things that has continued, and this is something that we were talking about before I hit record, is that when I think of Katie, I always picture a big old table with lots of
Mhm,
chairs and adding seats because that is her heart. And I think we share that, but I always that's what I picture is I want a big table for people to
uh-huh,
gather and be together.
yeah,
Um, and for me, I want people to gather together and be immersed in their conversations, in the presence of the moment, and being nurturing to each other in the ways that kismet happens. Because usually,
mhm,
when we are honest and we are invited to sit at a table together, we end up needing what the other person in front of us has brought,
mhm,
whether that's actual literal food, right down
yeah,
to wisdom or insight, or maybe they're going through something really similar. And it's like, isn't this
mhm,
crazy that this
yeah,
person next to me is having such a similar experience?
yeah,
Um, but that's always what I associate you with, Katie, is a big table with lots of chairs. And if we need more space, we'll just build a longer table.
yeah. I love that image. I have that image has been very important to me. I think it actually came up as part of some coaching that we did together several years back. The image of the
Ah,
table. And I had kind of two images. One was for this very big, comfy chair that I wanted for myself as a space to sit, be present, and be nourished in my own spirit so that I would have the energy to go and build that big table and continue to add chairs to it. And that season that we've spent some time together with you coaching me a couple different times in, I guess, a more official capacity. But that chair, I still have the image that I conjured in that and manifested in that on the front of a binder with some notes from that season. And it's really important because I actually did feel like that was one of those moments where I truly manifested it into existence. And I remember you encouraging me that that chair would come along exactly how it was meant to. And actually, right here in this room, I have that chair that I found um, through Facebook Marketplace. That hardly had been sat in. It was like less than $100 for this huge armchair. And I just tell that story because I think it was just this beautiful example of having a vision for something and really bringing it forth by sending energy and manifesting in a sense to bring it into my life. And so that chair, and so I think now we're working on the table more and
that's
more.
right.
Not to say we haven't already been doing that work in many ways, but I see, what we're moving towards and collaborating together as just um, building that table and inviting more and more women to step in with us.
Yes. And I am really excited. So, one of the first of many things that we've got in the works that we wanted to um, come to the podcast studio, aka Zoom
Yeah.
room, to start talking with you all about and inviting you into is something we're calling Essence Leading from Within. And the tagline is an immersive experience calling you back to the heartbeat of your innate leadership. And this is going to be a 1 day event. We are actually still finalizing the venue space as we record this. And if you hear any background noise, Serge is just in our kitchen. So if you hear anything going
Mhm.
on in there in the background, just having some ambient noise, um, that is him. So no worries there. But that is actually one of the reasons that we want to create a space together is that so often our primary place of creating is not impeding, but we have a lot going on inside of it. We have the relationships that coincide with us there. We have the work in front of us. We have the laundry. We have all of the things. And so one of the things that we wanted to do this year was get people together in person
Mhm.
in an environment where we have prepared and invited you to the table that we want to set for you. And part of the vision that we have for this table is that we are calling in women like us who crave deeper intimacy and community with ourselves, the work that we want to do in the world, and also the love and healing that we see possible for it. But you are probably a woman listening. If you should attend, if you want to attend, these are going to be handles as we talk through who we are and what we're infusing this with that can help you determine if you want to sit at that table. It's okay
Mhm.
too if you don't want to sit with us. That's all right. We hope that you do. But this table that we're imagining is for very specific women. And
Mhm.
so that is what we wanted to start talking about here and getting into truly the essence of what we are calling forward. Um, and I think to start to, just in case someone is sending you this episode, is like, listen to these women. Like they sound like us. Um, we really didn't do a formal introduction. So we'll do that now. So that way you get a handle, at least for who we are and
Yeah.
what we're creating and calling into existence. So my name is Evelyn Fusen. I'm an activational speaker and spiritual mentor, and I'm based in Louisville, Kentucky. Um, my primary objective in life is to instigate you into a greater awareness of who you are and what you want from your life and activating you. Um, and looking at how God, source, love has endowed you with the things that you have on your heart, on your mind, the obstacles that you're grappling with, all of those things are for you, with you, and I think that you are deeply seen, loved, and known right where you are. And if we're just now crossing you, I'm grateful for the time that we're spending together. And I know Katie shares the sentiment. Your time is the most precious resource in the world. So
Mhm.
even as you sit with us and listen, we are grateful. If you are considering coming to our event, we are grateful. If you end up buying a ticket, we are grateful. We are grateful that you would be spending your day with us. And trust us when I say that we don't take that for granted or lightly. We are deeply intentional presence people.
Yeah.
And so right over to you. I'm going to pass the mic to Miss
Yeah.
Katie Vogel.
I'm Katie Vogel. I would say, I've worked for about a decade in the nonprofit space, both higher education and more traditional nonprofits, primarily in fundraising. But the pieces of that work and the work that I am here on this earth to do revolves around not just the systems and processes, but the ways in which we can build things that allow the spirits of others to rise. And I do love the technical, practical, strategic side of things. I enjoy my spreadsheets. I enjoy fleshing out systems so that they work well for us. And the reason I think I'm passionate about that is not just for the sake of a pretty spreadsheet, but it's because I would love to see the areas that we can automate within our business, within our organization, the systems that can work well for us, so that we can spend our days and our moments in the creative and playful space that our gifts are really needed. So let's get our systems working well so they can work for us while we build out the beautiful, wild ideas that we have. And I am working on building out my own business right now. So I think one thing Evelyn and I feel is really magical when we come together is the different giftings that we bring to the table, but also the ways that collaborating with both the getting in touch with yourself, really deeply understanding and becoming an advocate for your own ideas, and then taking it into tangible and practical steps. And what do we do next with it? So we're really excited for this Essence Leading from Within event to draw on both of our backgrounds and our giftings.
Mm, that's beautiful. I want to invite you to Katie because we did a little experience right before this where we did a grounding and a visualization. And Katie saw some really beautiful, vivid imagery that will be infusing into this event. And also, it just made me laugh and appreciate this collaborative endeavor because what she's going to share is also just the essence of my heartbeat a little bit. And it takes me back to all the beautiful, powerful ways that we've already been supported in collaborating and dreaming this into existence. So tell them a little bit about what you saw for this event and what you were drawn to and thinking about the essence of essence.
Yeah. I think Evelyn asked me before we started recording if she was feeling pretty grounded. I think I can say we were kind of about ready to roll. I was like, I think I just need a few more minutes to sit and really connect with this because I'm coming from I've been with a 1 year old and I've been with other people doing other things and trying to get my Sunday afternoon checklist for my week ahead all straightened out. And so I took a minute and, the first place that I really got a clear image of in grounding into what it is that we want this event to bring to the people that attend. It was basically a scene from a playground of children playing and laughing and playing hopscotch and jumping rope and building things together and just a very playful place and a playful attitude. And we that is something that I think will be really essential as my business builds out. There will be a playful side as we may be dealing with deep or challenging or complex topics, but sometimes if we can allow ourselves to return to our childlike selves, to our inner child, where we can play and release the burden of responsibility and just give ourselves a moment for creativity and fun. Um, it actually will help us to solve some of those big and complex and challenging things. So that playful attitude is something that I really hope is part of essence and what's ahead for us. And then the other set of images that I shared with you, Evelyn, was this image of being around a fire, of gathering around. You could picture yourself roasting a marshmallow for s'mores or having just a conversation with the person next to you at the fire. But I think being around a fire brings these moments of tranquility and peace, kind of watching the flames dance and being inspired, by that, but it can also bring really deep conversations that, as it gets dark and you can start to see the stars and the fire is roaring, and just to sit next to someone and start to really grapple with the challenges of life and the things you want for not just your life, but the world around you and the people around you. So I think that is the kind of space that we want to create as well, a space for relaxing, unwinding, and facilitating those moments of connection and the depth of the connection that we both crave in our own lives.
Yes, 100%. And I think, when you talk about childlike, it draws me back to simplicity. And I heard this week that truth is often just as simple as it's said in 3 words, that truth is distilled down into 3 words. You don't need any more. And that's kind of what it brought me back to, was hearing that. Um, that so often what we overcomplicate, if we will come at with a playful attitude, or give ourselves a chance to play, to
Mhm.
infuse some fun, or to take a break, even, that we come back to what we're working on with a different perspective, and one that is vibrant and energetic, and the things that I know as women we long for.
Mhm.
Especially if you're listening to this episode, there are some things that I know about you. If you've stuck it out with us this long, I know that presence is important to you. I know that playfulness is probably something that you want more of in your life. I know that um, deep friendship and connection and community is something that you're probably seeking. Because I also know that, as I've said, like, Katie and I have been destined to collaborate in an official way for a long time. But part of that has just been timing in our own journeys. And what's really cool about where we are in the trajectory of our lives right now is we're kind of both uniquely building something a little different than what we've done before.
Mhm.
And I think that is something that's really profoundly special about this moment too. Is that this event is not existing as a a bulletin board for how awesome we are. It actually is existing because we literally want to host a room full of women who desire and crave more for themselves in their life and their leadership, to connect deeper in with themselves, and to collaborate and meet with other heart-centered women
Mhm.
who are yearning for the same thing,
Mhm.
who want to be in deeper connection. And something that Katie and I talked about again before we hit record was just also, it's actually what you were talking about, Katie. You were talking about how a lot of things wouldn't have been possible for you in your journey if we hadn't been collaborating, if we hadn't been
Yeah.
talking, if we hadn't been in connection, if we hadn't had a way to voice the things that we're processing. Because so
Mhm.
often, what has happened, or what has been encouraged in our society, I feel, is that a lot of us have been learning how to lead from men. And men do isolate, don't they?
Mhm.
But that is not feminine leadership. Feminine leadership is in collaboration. It is not in competition. It doesn't need to compete. It's its own very vibrant essence, just like a flower. A rose is different from a lily, but they each have a different smell and a different beauty to add to the world. And neither one of them is worried about outshining the other. They just are exactly what they are. And
Mhm.
I think that that again is part of the intention as well, is to draw you back into that innate remembrance of who you are before you learn to be anything different. Before you before you thought that you couldn't do that thing because everybody thought it was impossible. This room is for women who don't want to be held back by barriers anymore. No barriers to support, also. I feel like that is something huge for me in my own growth and journey, is that I always thought that I had to do it on my own. That was the
Mhm.
right way. Again, I learned that from men. But really and truly, I don't want to be burnt out, isolated, and alone, wondering if I'm doing the right things. I want to be a deep connection, meaningful relationship, and supported,
Yeah.
completely supported. I want those things. I yearn for those things. And that is the space for you if that is something you're seeking. We want to be in connection and friendship and partnership and collaboration with other women who don't want to do this alone and who want to do it together, who want the beauty and the power that is in deep friendship and collaboration. Ultimately, we keep coming back to friendship, really, and I think that's what
Mhm.
is the most beautiful thing about this is that that is literally what has sewn the fabric together of our lives, but it's also just what we want to bring more of and to build this longer table.
Mhm. Yeah, and we, just actually completed our first event together, a few weeks ago,
Yes.
2 weeks ago. Our, Nourished in the New Year retreat for some, women who were very dear to us, and I think in that, moment, we experienced what it looked like to be activated by being in community with women who are, each of us came to that space with a very different vision and a very different ideas about what we want to bring into the world, but the thread that kind of tied us all together is the passion with which we've developed that vision, and um, that we I think we're just reminded that we're not alone in having a vision for what we want our sphere to look like. And I left that space feeling extremely encouraged. And I think something I wrote down, and Evelyn used the term earlier, activated. But we've both felt very activated in our own journeys toward building our own businesses. But uh, like you said, Evelyn, the key to that was these moments of collaboration and being able to bounce ideas off of one another, and being able to really um, leverage that support to feel like it's possible, and to be supported enough to know that you're headed in a direction that is is meant for you, and that we, being the people around you in your community, we need you to do that thing. Whatever your vision may be, whatever your wild idea may be, it is important that it comes to life. And so we want the Essence event to be a space that those ideas can come to life, whether they're just sparking or whether they've been in the back of your head for years. Let's fan the flame. Let's do it.
Mm, I love that. Um, Always fire starting. Like, I think too, I think that brings me back to what I love about coming back to the fire and thinking about that is that if you're here in this space, you probably are an instigator of sorts. Whether you consider yourself confrontational or not, I think that you probably have had to do your fair share amount of squaring up with systems, institutions, relationships, people, where things had to change, and you were going to foster that change,
Hmm.
because that's exactly um, who we end up attracting to in our friendship and our life are change makers.
Hmm.
And I think that that idea too of being supported back was something that I didn't really know was available to me until a couple years ago when I decided I was looking around me, um, and I was looking at how many people I was supporting or pouring into, but I realized I really didn't have a lot of friends. I did not really have a lot of people who I was connected with, heart, mind, body, spirit, who were driven, who wanted to see things change, who were actively seeking to grow in themselves, and who were also willing to reach back for me. I was totally comfortable and tending everybody else's little fires. But mine kept
Mm,
dwindling
yeah.
until I realized, hey, no, I want other fire starters sitting with me at my fire, also pouring into me. But that was a choice. And I tell you this also because as soon as I set the intention that I wanted real friendships, here they came. They came, they challenged me, they encouraged me, they equipped me. Um, and I have been that, when we facilitated that retreat in January, I just kept crying in our time together, like in a great way,
Mhm,
because the woman who asked 2 or 3 or 4 years ago that her cup would also be filled was just overflowing. And that's also what I want and crave for us as women, to
mhm,
have the support, the belief, the encouragement, the empowerment to be exactly who we are meant to be for such a time as this, carrying forward, as Katie was talking about, the exact things in our communities that we have longed to see happen. We are the change that we want to see in the world, truly.
mhm,
But often, too, as change makers, it is tiring. It's a special kind of compelling thing that only other change makers get. Even Katie and
mhm.
I will have conversations now where we're processing through something, and the other people in our lives, they may love us, but they don't quite get it because they're not so activated by the mission that we feel. It's like this internal thing that tugs us forward, that we wake up in the middle of the night sometimes going like, what is this fire in me? I can't do anything but like stoke it, but like by be near it to come back for it. And we want more rooms where fire starters are getting equipped, supported, and empowered together to be able to foster the movements, the healing, the love, the tangible actions of the systems that need to change. That we are here to do that in this time.
Mhm.
Um, I have a quote that I wrote down here too that was also from something I was listening to this week. And it says, the more empowered you become, the less you care about what other people think of you.
Mm,
I want you to be sitting in a room where you feel so empowered in yourself and with the other women who are there that you forget what Susie's going to think if you post what you really think. I want you to be enamored and empowered into such great heights that you feel like you're flying out of that room, activated, loved, encouraged, and connected. That was one of the things that I actually asked. Well, it was a group. It was a group assignment. I did not do my part of the assignment, which is typical. I did something different, but that's ultimately what we needed.
Of
But
course.
Katie thought about the thing I asked her to, and which is what are people coming away with? And I love what you said, Katie. Like, what are people coming away with? What is your dream and vision? Because I share it. But when you said it, I'm like, absolutely. That is absolutely what this is about.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I want people to walk out of that space, obviously, like feeling that empowerment and feeling like very connected to themselves, their vision. But I want to see our event attendees find a at least one meaningful connection with another attendee that they can continue to have that support and community with. Whether that's you and I, or somebody that's sitting across the table that they've never met, or a friend that they brought with them that they didn't realize they had um, so much in common around bringing these ideas and exciting changes to the world. I think the other thing that I shared with you that I really want people to walk away from this event um, is is feeling like their cup is full and that it's sustainable. You know, this is not just a one day mountaintop experience, but that we, you know, it's mine and Evelyn's heart to to continue to support those dreams coming to life. And yeah, I'm wondering too if there's something that I said that I'm forgetting, but you're remembering because I said quite a few things
No.
earlier when I was brain
Yeah,
dumping,
no,
but
that's exactly it, is that women would come away with also empowering connections and relationships.
Mhm,
And I think that is a continuing theme or a story that I've heard is like it's hard to make adult friends.
mhm,
But that's why events like what we're going to hold for this, for Essence, and for the events that follow it, that is where this is we're putting our little fires in the stand and
yeah.
inviting people to come. Please come. If you're feeling the resonance in what we're saying, or if there's just something about it and you know that it's meant for you, well, perfect. Like it is. But I say that like again, not never from a place of coercion, but always from a place of invitation with your spirit,
Mhm.
instigating in your spirit.
Yeah.
Because so often, again, something that I feel like I do a lot in my work is helping women find where they have stopped listening to their innate wisdom because that is so easy for us to do in our culture. We've been told since
Mhm.
we were little, we don't know how to do an assignment. What's the rubric say? We don't know how we feel. Go see a doctor. All of these things, and often we're told we're crazy for the things that we feel. So why would we trust those instincts and why would we share them? But that is also, I think, one of the bigger purposes in my mind for the things that we're going to be doing is instigating hope that you're in a space with other fire starters to have conversations that you can only have with other change makers who get it, who get this missional thing that drives you, that wakes you
Mhm.
up in the middle of the night, that has you wondering like what is my next step and or how do I help these things come to life.
Yeah.
um, and also, like, where's my tribe? We're right here. We're here. That tribe of we get things done and we do it in a way that honors ourselves, the energetic blueprints that we own and have that we're stewarding, but also that we're honoring to each other the paces that we need and the also the fortitude to think that your wild ideas are exactly not only possible, but they're meant for you and they're meant for the world.
Mhm.
And I think that that is also a little different because you're never going to hear Katie or I say that thing is impossible. You might hear Katie say that timeline feels a little crunchy, but
Yeah.
you're not going to hear either one of us ever be like, nah, that's never going to work.
Right.
No, you're coming to a place where it's like, huh, yeah. Well, we could build a rocket ship. Like, so what does that look like? So it's
Yeah.
it again, it's again never about impossible. It's about I'm possible, right?
Mhm.
It
Yeah.
is, but in order to do that as well, it does take a village of sorts. It often takes collaboration, belief, um, and you can build things on your own, but it's far more fun to do them together. The film.
Mhm.
And also, it is my belief that we are here to be deeply connected to each other. There is no separation from the whole. That really does mean death. Literally, Serge and I were talking about that movie Into the Wild today, where the guy goes off the grid and he gets a bus and he dies. Like you can't remove yourself so completely from the whole. We were always designed to be part of it. That doesn't mean that we don't take breaks and that we don't withdraw into ourselves. That's not at all
Right.
what I mean. In fact, as women, I think it's so essentially important that we do have space and time to be in our own energy with our own desires, cravings. I mean, take months, man. I'm good with it. But just know too that regardless too of whether or not we ever meet you, Katie and I are rooting for you. That is
Mhm.
so true. That's true of who we are. And we are. the hype women who want incredible things for the world with you, for you, and collaboration and love with you.
Mhm.
Um, Anything else, Katie, that you want to add about any of that?
Well, one thing I was thinking about, Evelyn, as you were expounding on that, is just going back to the name of the event, which essence, leading from within, an immersive experience, calling you back to the heartbeat of your innate leadership. And I would love to hear you speak to the word essence because that came forward for us um, a little while back, and we'd been tweaking with how we really wanted to use that, but why that essence piece became the name and why it's important.
Yeah, I think the essence really roots from an embodied place. I think that's one of the reasons that it sticks out is because essence to me exudes a truth that's just powerful beyond anything else. Just like seeing something beautiful, you don't have to say it's beautiful, you know it's beautiful. Um, I think it comes back to just again, and that's why we used heartbeat as well. The heart center like was really important as we were fleshing this out, because that heart space, when we allow it to play, when we allow it to be exactly who she is, it does energetically exude
Hmm.
something very distinct and all its own. It doesn't belong to anyone else. It can only literally be described as an essence, as something that is so profound and unique to that person, individual, or thing, that it captures it quite completely. Yet we often don't have language for it. And I think that that is something as women too. It's like a beauty that's all our own, but it has to
Hmm.
also be allowed. It has to be celebrated and honored. Otherwise, again, too, we become like those roses who close up, who withdraw, who feel a little shudder shy. How about for
Hmm.
you? I mean, that was totally off the cuff, but like that is the way that I would describe it.
Yeah, I think the other piece or just a complementary piece really of that word is essence kind of gets down to the the base and the foundation and who you are at your core. And so part of this immersive experience together at this event is peeling back some of those layers to be reminded of who you are, the beauty of that person and and seeing how that brings forth maybe a new idea or a renewed energy for something you've been thinking you should do because it can be very easy to be pulled away from that essence of who we are because we have responsibilities and we have um, busyness around us and it can be very distracting and if you're anything like me getting um, to a place where you've said yes to so many things that you're in this kind of rushing environment. So quieting ourselves enough to reconnect with who we are at our essence and at our core so that we can rekindle that and uh, start to reconnect with it in those moments of presence and the other piece of that I would say is you and I had talked briefly about the pace of how we approach things, and this is where this will likely look different. We're not calling it a conference. We're not calling it a workshop. Um, it's an experience. It is an event, but those words didn't fit. They didn't feel quite right. They felt too rigid because our hope is to move through with some flow, to adapt and change um, to what the community that joins us may need in those moments.
Mm. Yes, honoring the pace and the flow of what is. Um, that is something that I think is really beautiful. We
Mhm.
watched that play out in real time in January for that
Yeah.
retreat. And that is different too. I think that is divinely feminine.
Mhm.
That is not a masculine archetype who is fixed to a schedule and
Yeah.
who needs a schedule to survive, really. If you think about the men in your life, they really do need structure. But for us, even our cycles, right? A man's cycle completes every 24 hours, but a woman's cycle is weekly. It's 28 days. It takes a lot longer. It is, and it's in different phases. And so I think I also love thinking about this event even before it's happened because I already know that there will be things that don't go the way that we imagined them, but they'll fall into place in just the right way.
Mhm.
And that too is something that you can't have when you have facilitators who are so rigid in wanting to honor something specific that they've preordained. And that is not who we are because we ultimately come back to not that we don't have schedules that we keep, but we honor the pace that we need. So shifting or aligning things that need to be regrouped, or if we
Mhm.
need to take longer for a session, that could totally happen that day. Now, we would honor your lunch because we value food and nourishment.
Yes.
And if you got an itinerary and then we told you what time you're going to eat, and that's what time you're going to eat, okay, that is something that we don't try to mess with. Because that's a very real thing for us to sustenance. One of the things, one of our taglines is "We can eat." It's like
We
if you're
could
wanting to
eat.
go, we just had a meal. I mean, we can get a snack. So,
Yeah, I could eat.
or just being together in a space that's
Mhm.
nourishing is always
Yeah.
something that we enjoy.
Mhm.
So um, yeah, I am just again really really grateful
Mhm.
to be doing this with you. Even when we did the retreat, I mean, it felt like breathing. It felt that
Yeah.
effortless.
Mhm.
Um, because I really do think, as you talked about before, our giftings complement, and we have very similar hearts and desires of what we want to see in the world
Yeah.
create. And I think that that is profoundly beautiful and such a gift. So we would love to invite you to take part. Again, we're still firming up all of the logistics and the details, but I am going to post a waitlist link in the show notes here. So if you want to be specifically notified, just go to that waitlist, put your information in, and I will send it directly to you by email or voice note. I might put a spot for, see, this is me also going, actually, maybe I'll personally invite you with my voice. There will be a spot for your phone number as well for the wait list, and we will reach out with information as we have it. Our intention is to get our venue firmed up in the next 2 weeks. Right now, it is February 2nd. And I do know that we will be, this is what we're planning. We're planned to announce those tickets on Galentine's Day because what more like what
Yeah.
more do you want to give yourself
Uh-huh.
or to your girlfriends
Mhm.
than this event? I mean, truly, I know I'm biased, but come on, you just hung out with us here. Don't you want to come be
Yeah.
with us for a day?
Yeah.
um, but we'll be releasing those, and I'm just going to go ahead and tease it. We do have a very special rate for the first 10 tickets. So make sure that you sign up for that wait list because I have a feeling that they're going to go fast.
Mhm.
It's a very incredible deal. But we wanted a way to get some encouragement and win in our sales since this is a bigger event than we've ever done. And also because we want to like this is a hell yes. I want to be there. So all the things that we want to do. Um, I feel like we could also end just with like one question for the other, something fun, or we could do a couple,
Mhm.
but at least one that is more fun and playful, which is so funny because I had already told Katie, I think we should do a segment like that where we,
Yeah.
take off of our facilitator hats and play a little bit, and then you had the
Yes.
image of the playground. So,
Mhm.
all right, who is your celebrity hall pass, Katie Vogel?
Oh, goodness. Oh, let's see. I who would I say? So many options. No, I'm just kidding.
The
Celebrity
list is
hall pass.
long.
I get I'm just trying to narrow it to like number one, you know? Like maybe.
Well, if you need to
Um
process out loud, I mean, I'm curious who's on the list. So, I mean, you could mention a couple as you're like
I
weaning it
mean,
down.
Michael B. Jordan's on the short list.
Okay.
Idris Elba's on the short list.
Okay. I'm seeing a
Um,
theme. All right.
see a theme. Uh, I would say, yeah, no. See, Jason Derulo's like someone I do want to see in concert. I love me some Jason Derulo.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't know, like I don't think he can surpass the others that I've already mentioned. I'm just now that I can't get away from the theme, so I'm just that's I'll just leave it at that. Because I
Okay.
can't think of anybody else, but I'm sure.
So, if you had to pick one of those two of the
Hmm.
finalists,
Michael B. Jordan.
okay, I would have totally gone with Idris on that one. See, for
Yeah.
me, Michael B. Jordan, he has this attitude about him. I think that we'd kill each other.
Hmm.
So, I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, Surge and that's kind of foreplay, I guess. But I don't know. There's something about that. So I love
Kill
that.
each other. Oh, goodness. Yeah, I feel
Yes.
like, well, and this is how my brain works, right? To know a little bit more about me. I like to I need visual aids and I like to see all my options and like understand and narrow. So like ideally, I would be like, okay, Evelyn, hold on one second. I'm going to do a thorough Google search and then I will tell you who my celebrity hall pass is
But
because
here I was. I
I
made
have
you give
looked
me an
at
answer.
yep, see, and that's yeah, I'm like, okay, well, whatever came to the mind first. That's what's got to win.
We'll trust it.
Okay, yes. Well, I am going to ask you a totally different type of question in the vein of play and fun. What
Mhm.
was your favorite game to play growing up, like as a
Oh,
child?
teacher. I
You
love
played
being the
school. You were the
teacher.
boss.
I was the boss.
Who's surprised?
Yes. I was the teacher.
Mhm.
I taught my stuffed animals. I taught my friends. I taught anyone who wanted to listen, come to Evelyn's classroom.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Well, and
it's
here,
fitting.
here we go. Oh, that's
But in
fun.
all seriousness, too, in that same vein, I also really love to sing and perform. So I would also like, um, I would like choreograph my own thing.
Hmm.
This is something that if you get close to me, you'll learn. I have a hard time following other people's rules.
Mm.
They just don't seem to like work. For me, I
Yeah.
like it's like I always go back to Pirates of the Caribbean for like guidelines. Like I'm like, give me
Yep.
give me your guidelines of what you're looking for and let me
Let's
like
see what I can do.
freeform it. Well, I was telling Allie, one of our good friends, this about me and dancing recently. It's like as a child, I could dance just fine. Like
Mhm.
again, I'm making it up as I go. So
Yeah.
I'm good with that. But when it comes to me learning choreography, now I'm definitely out of practice. I think it's a skill I could develop. So I'll be kind to myself in that way. That's much better than I would have been 2 years ago. But when it comes to watching someone else move their body and they're like, now you do it, I'm like, hmm, Well, that's a nice thought, but I don't know how
Yeah.
you got your elbow there. So I'm gonna try to do what you did, but I don't think it's gonna look like that.
Yeah.
So just bear
Oh,
with
that's
me.
funny.
But the story I told Allie is that, and going back to Georgetown, and I think I've told you this, Katie, but I'm not sure. So, because you weren't there yet, it was my freshman year. Um, we do this thing at Georgetown called Songfest. So essentially, all the dormitories at the campus create an 8-minute musical to
Mhm.
participate as some kind of theme. So our theme was Dream Big. And I actually got the lead because I can sing. And so I was singing multiple parts. Well, when we got into the musical part of things was fine. The choreographed part was interesting because the women who were there, like, you know, putting things on with
Mhm.
me as our RAs, our resident advisors, were the ones who were helping
Mhm.
us with this because I was a freshman. Um, as we're like, they've put their stuff together and they put me in there and they're like, and go. It was very, very quickly that they learned, ooh, Evelyn can sing, but she's not very good at following instructions. So, are we going to continue to punish the group or not? And I was so thankful when they're like, we're just going to dance around you. And I was like, that is really like the most ideal thing to happen here. And
Yeah.
so,
Yeah.
so that is, a part of also just letting the universe work for you because it worked out
Very
way more better
way more better.
for all of us.
Yeah. Oh,
Because I
that's
was like,
good.
this choreography is going to be like the reason that you don't have your star power. Come on now. No, I'm
Yeah.
just kidding.
Don't do this to yourself.
No, that's right. Don't choose yourself now. Like we were so
Yeah.
close.
Let the dancers dance, let the singers sing. It's good.
That's right. That's right.
Yes, and I
That's
will
right.
take the
So
dance part any
yes,
day.
yes, you can dance around me.
Yeah,
That's
I
perfect.
got it. I got it.
She's gonna do your steps with you.
Yeah, yeah.
It's perfect. I'm more of the
Good.
big picture visionary. Let's dial it in. We'll make it specific to you, but then here's your counterpart who's going to be like, here's your Excel sheets.
Here's the
Bada
dance
bing,
moves, baby.
bada boom.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it.
Good.
Well, anything else? I like that question.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to add?
No, I've just really enjoyed getting to spend some time talking through this vision, and I really hope that you'll join us. I can't wait to meet you at Essence.
Yes, I am so looking forward to it. And it's been really delicious thinking about it because as we've talked about it, and even as I listened to us talking, I'm like, this is the dopest fucking shit. Like, you
You're gonna
guys,
lead the
you want
promo
to
with
be
that.
there. I mean, I'm feeling that way, and I don't feel like magnetic pulls like that like very
Right,
often.
right.
So
Mm.
I'm just letting you know it's gonna be pretty epic.
Yeah,
Like
yeah. And it's
I
only the
think that
beginning, so
that's
that's the
right.
exciting part.
That's right. So um, yes, I would love nothing more than to see you at Essence and to get the incredible privilege of meeting you, learning your innate leadership essence, and just being able to be in friendship and collaboration with you. That would be just the icing on top of a really, really delicious cake that we're baking for you over here. So
Mhm. Yeah.
we're sending you off with lots of love. And again, get on the wait list. It's in the or not the comments. It's going to be in the show notes.
It's all the Chris's, not all the Chris's. Chris Hemsworth or Chris, whoever Captain America is. Either of them.
Evans.
Yeah, Evans. The
I had to hit record again, guys. So Katie was in the middle of her thought, but she forgot Chris Hemsworth. And so we
yeah,
couldn't forget Chris or
yeah,
any
Chris.
of the Chris's.
Any
How do
of
you
the
feel about
Chris's.
Chris Pine?
He's okay, but I'd go Hemsworth or Evans first.
Hemsworth
I'm
or
married to
Evans?
like a very Captain America like man, so that just makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's a good one too, though. if you had to pick an Avenger,
Oh,
okay, this is where
yes.
we're ending. If you had to pick an Avenger, so would it be Captain America? Like that's who you would pick is Captain America, America's ass.
Mm.
Well, you know why I'm saying that, right? That
Yeah,
was from one of
yeah.
the shows. Okay,
Oh,
anyone's
yeah,
listening.
it's from
Captain America is
it's
not an
from
ass.
yes, that
Just
no,
in
that's it's
case.
America's Ass. That is
That's
from
right.
oh, it's a reference to the movie, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I
It's
think
one
I
of the
would
Marvel
yeah,
movies, obviously.
it's either Thor or Captain America for me. So I'd probably err
Oh,
toward
yeah.
Captain America. Just
Both the Chris's.
yeah, yeah, both the Chris's. Exactly. But
Yes. Well, for me, in body, like in physical attraction, it's Thor. It's always Thor. But in
oh,
personality, it's Captain America. And you guys should meet Serge because he's a
wait,
pretty cool combo.
yeah. And
So, like,
personality, is that what you said? It's Captain America? No.
oh, sorry, not Captain America.
Tony
Duh.
Stark?
What? Yes, Iron
Yeah.
Man. That's why you're
Iron
like, I'm like,
Man.
why are
I
you
was like, wait a
confused?
second.
I'm like,
I don't think
what
that's
did I
right.
say? I know you.
No,
No.
yeah. I knew Robert Downey Jr.'s character was coming
You're
into
like
this,
too
so
much white light off of that one. No,
right. You need the dark side.
the dark side,
Yeah,
which is
yeah.
totally accurate. So
Yeah. Well, and my husband and I dressed up as Captain America and Agent Carter for the first Halloween that we were dating, and it was
that is
spot
perfection.
on. I feel like Agent Carter would be someone who would come to our event.
Of course. I mean, and Pepper
She's a
Potts
badass.
is going to be there
Yeah.
too.
So,
Hello.
yeah.
All right. All right. Now we can end it. Like we are now we're complete. We'll
That's good.
see you at Essence.